Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, the Ohio Patriot, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand. So, for today's Grandstand, we're going to talk about 7 days until Tyranny returns, which actually is more like 6 days now, because a lot of General Assemblies across this country are going to be reconvening on the 4th of January. And yeah, it's going to be a shit show, man. You're going to have a bunch of gun control being pushed in places like New Jersey, Illinois, etc. JB Pritzner and company are going to be pretty much gearing up doing assault weapons ban in Illinois. You're going to have Colorado General Assembly. That's all Democrat led. They're going to try and pull shit there as well with AWBs ever since the Club Q shooting happened about a month or two ago, whatever that was. And the worst thing is there's not much you can do about it in those states, dude, with the exception of lawsuiting the fuck out of these people, because you have complete Democrat strongholds there is what it is. It's completely Democrat-run General Assemblies, and you're pretty much SOL is what it is, man. So with the exception of moving, like it's basically either move and hopefully fight in a red state for the continued gun rights of, that state, or it's, try to fight back against tyranny and hopefully you have enough money to bring a lawsuit is what it is. As it is for Ohio here, you basically have a bunch of fuckery going on here across all levels right now. There is a bunch of stupid bullshit, obviously, that we're going to be having to deal with this go around in 2023. I guarantee you're going to have pieces of shit like Matt Dolan try to bring back his SB 375 again, underneath a different name, probably, most likely. Maybe it'll be SB 9 this time around. Who the hell knows? But either way, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's totally unconstitutional. It is one of the biggest pieces of shit legislation I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And it's 100% Bloomberg dark money that paid for the entire creation of legislation is what it was, dude. So, needless to say, that's what I'll pretty much be fighting against here at a state level. We're going to try to get Second Amendment sanctuary stuff going through now. Preservation Acts, we're going to call them at this point. Hoping to work with some people on that one. If nothing else, like I'll definitely work with whoever at this point to get that shit done, because that's been a goal for me personally for the last several years now. Is my fight started with 2A rights, and it will end with 2A rights, honestly, and that's a fact right now, dude. When you have people who want to sit there and fuck with your constitutional rights because they're a bunch of ass wipes, enough is enough, dude. It ain't right. It ain't constitutional what they're doing. And honestly, like, it needs to be stopped in its fucking tracks right now. And the only way to do that, honestly, is to fight back. It's to fight back against tyrants and stuff, dude. For real. And that's exactly what the network is doing right now, dude. That's what I'm saying. I would love to see other Patriot Education networks pop up in 2023 here across this country, whether it be in PA or Colorado or California or any other place like that, honestly, dude. Wisconsin will be another one. Michigan will be another one. Speaking of Michigan, they're going to try assault weapons ban there as well very soon. You have specifically, there is some dude named Pepper. It's either Pepper or Peppers. I'm not sure which. I can't remember offhand. I think it's Pepper. But basically, you have this asshole old man who is basically trying to push an AWB there in Michigan because Democrats are going to take that fucking General Assembly now. And that's all massive cheating, by the way. Let's point that out, dude. There is no way that any of these fuckers won legitimately. It's all Bloomberg fucking funded Mom's Demand Action types that are taking these seats of power right now in Michigan, dude. It is 100% unconstitutional for them to even be in the fucking running to begin with in those races, number one. And there is no way that they won legitimately. Not to mention, on top of that, you had the one guy who was supposedly involved in the Whitmer kidnapping plot and stuff like that being sentenced to 16 years yesterday, which is a bunch of BS entirely, dude. Because, again, that was just a bunch of fucking retards is what it was, dude. And there's a reason why you had like 14 guys charged and only like 2 of them actually legitimately getting prison time. It's because the other fucking 12 were all a bunch of Fed informants, dude. Seriously. That's exactly what's going on there. It was a bunch of federal informants being like, well, I guess I'm getting a paycheck today. Hell yeah. And then, of course, you had Dickhead DeWine here in Ohio, try some shit and be like, well, they were totally going after me too, is what it was, dude. And it's like, no, they weren't, you lying prick. They were literally meeting here in the state for like a minute, is what it was. And then he's like, no, they were totally going after me too. Ho, ho, ho. It's like, no, fuck you, DeWine. I'll tell you what, that son of a bitch recently. Sorry, fucking phones. I don't know who those calling me right now. But yeah, that son of a bitch had the audacity the other day to put some crap forward and be like, oh, we're going to do all this crap or whatever. And it's like, bro, you wouldn't even be a sitting governor after this year if it wasn't for you actually going out there and having yourself and Nan Whaley as the only two fucking choices on the entire ballot, dude. If there had been a third name on there, that person would be governor right now. I guarantee that shit, dude. It's like you didn't win, bro. You were literally the lesser of two hated people in the state, which I really don't understand, honestly, because you put us under 442 days of tyranny, bro. And after 442 days of tyranny, people are pretty fucking fed up with shit, dude. So, I'm fed up with the entire system here, honestly. I'd like to kick everybody out right now, all the way down the fucking gubernatorial line to Dave Yost, if that be the case. But, I would not want him being governor by default. I want a new governor's race at that point then, because there's no reason to have one when there's like 6-7 guys down the fucking line, But anyway, it is what it is, man. It's never going to happen, unfortunately, and that's the problem with this country in a nutshell. But yeah, needless to say, I don't know. I think there's going to be some crazy shit happening for sure. Then you got the ATF all, continuing to go rogue and push a bunch of shit they have no legal authority to do, is what it is, dude. Trying to do the pistol brace stuff now again and just all kinds of other BS. And it's like, bro, you do not have the legal authority to do any of this shit. Why don't you go fuck yourselves? Seriously. Honestly, interesting fact about that one. If you look back into the history of how the ATF got formed to begin with, it was basically the remnants of what used to be prohibition agents back in the day. It's exactly the same thing with the whole National Firearms Act. That was the last remnant of prohibition era stuff. And the only reason that still exists right now is because of the fact that you have a bunch of people not taking it to court and fighting it as unconstitutional right now. Because again, it goes back to money. It's why it was $200 tax stamps back then, is because that was a lot of money back then. $200 back then was like several thousand nowadays. Probably more like tens of thousands, honestly. But even shit, man, for me, $200 is still a lot of fucking money. So, But anyway, it's all a bunch of shit entirely, dude. And that's one thing I have talked about on this channel before, and why I hate people that'll do tax stamp stuff, because all you're doing is justifying unconstitutional tyranny against the rest of us. It's like, you think the rest of us don't want full auto and cool ass SBRs and shit, dude? Fuck yeah, we do. Are we going to pay the fucking government and give them the ability to walk into our house by breaking Fourth Amendment search and seizure stuff because you have no Fourth Amendment rights after you have actual tax stamp stuff? Fuck no, dude. And that's the entire point right now. So, anyway. But yeah, as it was, you had a pipe burst at the Ohio State House yesterday, which I thought was pretty funny. We might grab some stuff right now and check that out if I can find the link for it here real quick. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Let's see here if I can find it real fast. All right, let's see. Okay, trying to find where my bookmarks are at right now. Let's see. Ohio State House. There we go. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pull this bad boy up right now. And talk about the flooding. if anything, this really does show the corruption of this state right now in a nutshell, dude. And it's basically perfect. So
Well, blame the bad weather for this mess in Columbus. Check this out. State Senator Jay Hottinger tweeted out this video showing water flooding into the Senate chambers at the Ohio State House. I called and talked with the director of the agency responsible for maintaining Capitol Square. She tells me a pipe burst that's connected to the water suppression system. She says nothing was really damaged, no artwork or antiques, thank goodness. They're just working to dry out the carpet. She says they will be ready to go for opening day of the General Assembly, which is a week from today.
Yeah, so needless to say, that was yesterday, so it'd be 6 days now till Ohio's General Assembly comes back into session. And, the thing about it is, when you look into some stuff, dude, hopefully we'll actually get things done then if that be the case. Actually, the USA Today picked that up as well for the thing for the pipe bursting in the state Senate area there. Apparently, I guess it was there's a ceremonial room for signing stuff that DeWine had. Well, actually, it's just the governor, but the current governor is obviously Mike DeWine. It's a governor's room to sign like stuff or whatever. And apparently that's where the water was hitting into. So it's like, they know DeWine is a piece of shit, dude. It's God telling us, like, get rid of this motherfucker. Impeach his ass. Day number 1. Seriously, General Assembly. Do your job. I doubt they will, but they fucking should, honestly. Well, technically it should be 2 days, because it should be day number 1, you kick out every single Democrat from the state house. You have the ability to do that now. Y'all lockstep together. 6 votes, get it done. And then number 2, you fill a bunch of people positions then after that. And obviously day number 2 then, you then impeach DeWine's ass. So, but of course, a bunch of lazy fuckers and they're never going to do anything is what it is, dude. And it's sad. It's very sad. But, like I said, I'm going to work on hopefully becoming a lobbyist this year. That'll be fun. I've done enough right now for, 2A rights and just constitutionalism in general in the state right now. I feel like I should be getting my lobbying on. And, it'd be nice to have the Ohio Patriot Education Network finally being a lobbying group and stuff like that and being able to be like, hey, you guys should probably pass like this, and this or whatever. And then have them actually, do it is what it would be then. So, but who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell. Hopefully it'll happen, but who the fuck knows? But yeah, I'll definitely be working on basically 2 things. Will be my main goals for this year. Which is you have what is our stand your ground law currently that was watered down and allows for civil lawsuits to happen. I will be hopefully working on a different version of that and getting people to resubmit and stuff like that. If nothing else, I'll work with the new people that come in right now as the first term people and be like, hey, you guys care about the Second Amendment, right? Why don't you do your job and actually submit this good version then? If it goes anywhere, hopefully that'll be the case. But if it doesn't, again, it is what it is. But at least it will be resubmitted then. And that's the whole point entirely, is it's like, that's the one thing I had fought with in my own, state rep is what it is it's like, dude, I don't care if it actually gets passed. At least have some fucking balls and resubmit the damn thing. At least show me you give a shit enough to resubmit the fucking thing. Would I like to see it passed in the law? Of course I would like to see it passed in the law, because in case I do have to fucking stand my ground, I don't want to have fucking assholes, family members, who I had to defend myself against, being able to sue me in civil court. And the fact that you had Republican supermajority be like, no, we're going to water this down and take that part of it out. It's like, it's not even true stand your ground then, bro. It's just an expansion of castle doctrine. And what's even more disgusting is it wasn't until 2021 that Ohio became a non-duty to retreat state, dude. It's like, how the fuck are we going to be a duty to retreat state until just under 2 years ago? That's fucking psychotic. That is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard in my entire life, bro. And again, these are the kind of fights we've been working on in this fucking state for years now, dude. because it's a bunch of lazy motherfuckers who want to keep taking breaks for months at a time. It's the same thing federally, like going back to the omnibus bill shit federally there, dude. You had all these lazy bastards in Congress sit there and bitch and moan some more while taking 6-month vacations and then want to sit there and ram everything through a fucking omnibus bill at the very end is what it is and pay off their fucking corporate buddies and shit. Fuck that. Fuck that and fuck them. The fact that they're not each individually being knocked on the fucking door by feds and being arrested for high treason and charged with military tribunals and stuff like this, everything wrong with this country right now, dude. Entirely. So, and honestly, after January 4th, 2023, I would like to fight Tim Ryan, honestly, at this point, dude. Seriously. For the shit he was pulling against people in this country. The fact that he openly helped kill someone because of his mega threat shit, dude. That, by the way, was domestic terrorism by definition, what he said. It's time for this guy to get his ass beat in the streets, honestly, dude. For real. And at that point, he will no longer be a sitting congressman. He will not legally be able to have me arrested for that shit, dude. And especially if it's mutual combat. It's a whole other thing entirely. Granted, that being said, is he actually going to, respect the mutual combat? Is actually going to publicly, fight me? Of course he's not, dude, because he's a fucking giant pussy-ass bitch is what it is. And that's the entire point of most of these fuckers, dude. Honestly, I'll tell you what. There is a thing that Dana White from the UFC is doing now called slap fight or something like that. That would be something interesting too as well, dude. Just have all these bastards, the Tim Ryans, the Rob Portmans, and Nancy Pelosi's, Chuck Schumer's, etc., start slapping the shit out of each other, man. Force them into slap fights, man. Seriously. That would be one way to solve a lot of our issues right now in this country, dude. Just have various people from both sides of the aisle just slap each other is what it is, dude. Because it would be basically mutual combat at that point, But, of course, some might say that was elder abuse or something, probably, because, you have, some people that are way strong just, smacking the fuck out of some real old person and shit then. Although they would deserve it, to be honest with you. With the shit they pulled against the American people in the past, 30, 40 years now. And honestly, if you want to get into real talk, what basically destroyed this country, going back to 1965, the Immigration Act, Hart-Celler Act, where you had two douchebag, I believe they were senators at the time, named Hart and Celler, telling everybody that, oh no, all this immigration reform and stuff like that, it's not going to hurt America at all. It's not going to, change the demographics of this country at all. No, you're fine, you're fine. Bullshit, within a decade, you already had demographic changes. And it's gotten worse and worse in the last 50 years now, dude. Not to mention the open border policies and everything else like that now. So, yeah, it's just a giant shit show. And you got the fucking douchebag mainstream media being like, oh, but people should just accept this. It's like, fuck that, dude. Why would I accept people illegally coming into my country and trying to fuck up shit and then steal money from my fucking pocket is what it is, dude. That's just insanity. That's just psychotic retardation is what it is. So, yeah, needless to say. Yeah, and that's unfortunately the truth. All politicians are very crooked. It's why we need to have civil servants again is what it is, dude. And that's the problem. Make politicians civil servants again right now. And if that be the case and they were held to a standard and stuff like that, especially for breaking their oaths to office and stuff like that, we would definitely have really changed real quick is what it is. And that's why I've said many times the 20th Amendment of the Constitution, auto DQs and stuff like that. When you're actively not only breaking your oath to office, but you're sitting there submitting anti-gun legislation, everything else like that, you don't need to be in office anymore, dude, is what it is. Period. You should be not only thrown out of office, you should be looking at charges at that point then for various criminal acts and stuff you've committed right now. That's why deprivation of rights under color of law should be a felony nationwide at this point, federally actually. And you would have a lot of people charged with that, even for that matter, in a very quick succession. But unfortunately, nobody wants to actually do that is what it is. And then, of course, you have all the fuckery and the cuckery and everything else like that going on. And then it's basically this insider trading fucking mumbo-jumbo bullshit where everybody and their brother is able to basically get away with it federally because they basically have written the rules, is what it is, dude. It's like, how the hell are you going to write a rule that exempts you from going to prison? Like, what the hell kind of nonsense does that make, dude? So, yeah, it's just complete fucking insanity is what it is. And I think a lot of people are finally getting sick and tired of it. I know I am. I know I have been. And I know a lot of other people have been as well. And I think we're finally to a point right now in history where you're going to see the pendulum snap. You're going to see the pendulum swing and snap in the next, I would say, 6 months or so, give or take, maybe 4 months even. I would say by April of 2023, we're going to see a real change in this country, whether it be the leading of balkanization, whether it be, a head towards a Great Depression right now, which I think is very possible by the summer of this coming year. And, there's stuff that I remember I was reading probably about, 8 months ago or so on Natural News. And it was that Mike Adams guy talking about food gangs and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in 2023 at all, man. He was talking about happening at the end of this year and stuff like that, but I think his timeline was a little bit off, is what it was. But yeah, I could definitely see food gangs and stuff like that happening next year, where you have people basically just waiting for people to walk out of a grocery store and then just rob them at gunpoint, is what it would be. So, and is there going to be a lot of deadly force encounters because of that shit? Probably. I would not be surprised in the least by it, honestly, if it happened. Should it happen? No, it shouldn't happen, because fucking criminals shouldn't be allowed to criminal like that, is what it is, dude. And that being said, are good people going to let themselves just be killed over fucking, various food and whatever the case be? I don't think so, man. I think you're going to have a lot of people step up and be like, nah, fuck that, dude. And they're going to do what needs to be done to protect their shit, is what it is. Now, granted, that being said, if you're trying to fight off, 4, 5, 6 people or whatever, dude, is it going to be worth it? No. Is it going to be worth it? Just let them take the shit? Yeah, as long as they're not willing to kill you over it. So, yeah, I can see there definitely being some really, really bad things happening very quickly in this country. And it's not things I look forward to, honestly, dude. Actually, there was one the other day. It was at a local Walmart in the Canton area that we tend to frequent. That had some people hold it up again the other day that had like 6, 7 cops out there arresting people for various shit. That's exactly why I will never go to that place after dark anymore, because it's a giant fucking ghetto shithole, is what it is, dude. And it's like that in many of those places, honestly, dude. Like, the worse and worse they get, the worse and worse they become, is what it is. And sadly, when you have, people that just want to game the system and take advantage of the system and everything else like that, and don't give a fuck about actually, their fellow man or anything else for that matter, it's very hard to, look at that stuff and be like, okay, whatever. It's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, most General Assemblies will be reconvening here in the next 6 to 7 days, and you're going to see a lot of changes happen very quickly, I believe. I think you're going to see a lot of tyranny come forth, with anti-gun bills being submitted in many, many places very quickly. I think you're going to see a lot of other crap happen as well, with various things and what have you. And yeah, it'll be some interesting stuff that happens then. And we'll see what happens with everything when it's all said and done. I think you're definitely going to have some people realize very quickly that, America's not what it used to be. And the ones that don't realize that are going to be the ones that fall prey to the stuff, unfortunately. And it's sad. It's sad that we are at a time in history right now where you can't even really trust your fellow man anymore in most cases, because they're willing to just take advantage of you, is what it is. And it's kind of disgusting when you look at it, man. Because all you end up with is basically a giant, are you going to fuck me or am I going to fuck you kind of mentality then? And I don't know about the rest of you, man, but I'm not down for that kind of shit, man. I don't like having to fuck people over, and I don't like people fucking me over, is what it is. So I'd much rather just be in a cooperation kind of deal and do what needs to be done to basically have a betterment of society, is what it is, man. And, even going back to 2020, we saw that thin veil of humanity basically, collapse very quickly when you had people become full masked tyrants and everything else like that, dude, and show their true colors in many cases. And that was a sad situation as well on that one, dude. Because it was basically just individuals being like, oh no, I'm going to take what little teeny bit of power I have and try to use it against all of y'all. And that's what it was. In most cases, you had people going full Karen, you had people going full Doug. And it got even worse and worse when it came to anti-gunners and stuff like that. Man, they were some of the worst ones, honestly, dude. Legitimately. They just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it was like every fucking, like, that's the thing right now. Like, I got that anxiety coming out right now because it's like having to think about having to deal with these people again for the next 2 fucking years and stuff like that in my General Assembly, dude, at a state level. When I just had to deal with their shit for the last 2 fucking years, basically, all the way up to the 21st of this month, honestly. And it's like, god damn, dude, like, I just want to fucking break from this shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like, can we please just arrest these fuckers already that are committing this shit and put them away where they belong? And we don't deal with it anymore. And we can all just take a fucking breather for like 6 months, for God's sakes. And that's the one problem with being, someone who does 2A advocacy, activism, constitutionalism, etc., and tries to fight for 2A rights, dude. You're always on the ball. You're always on the ball. And it's like people want to not talk about the stuff, but it's like it's hard not to, dude, when it's like right in your fucking face constantly. So, I don't know. Honestly, I remember about, I don't know, probably 9 months ago now. This was back when we were fighting for Ohio to become a constitutional carry state, and we finally won. We finally won that battle, and I legitimately was just mentally exhausted for like at least 3 days after that, man, because it just drains you. It just drains your fucking energy, your soul, your time, your everything, dude, is what it is. And it's like, thank God we won that day, but it's like, did we win the war? Did we just win a battle? And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, we just won a battle. Like, the war is continuing on, dude. The war continues until we get rid of these fucking agencies, is what it is, dude. All these unconstitutional motherfuckers like the ATF and stuff like that. Until we completely get rid of the fucking NFA, etc., dude. NFA, Hughes Amendment, all that stuff like that. Until we completely destroy that shit once and for all, nothing's ever really going to change, dude. Until we hold people's feet to the fire and hold them to account for the crimes they've committed right now against the American people, nothing will ever truly change. And I believe truthfully that we're getting worse and worse as a country right now when it comes to stuff like that. And this is exactly why we're heading toward balkanization in this nation, is because of the fact we've seen that happen so many fucking times already. And it's like, at what point do we just say enough is enough, dude? At what point is the breaking point, honestly? And I believe it's coming more and more. I believe it's coming faster and faster, and it's just that rotating ball of just, insanity, basically, is the best way to describe it, because you don't know what the fuck anybody's gonna do at that point, dude. And not to mention, you have the uptick in crime in all these major cities. They're all Democrat-run hellholes, is what it is, and it's like, it's not surprising, man. Hell, I was reading something earlier that was talking about some sick bitch using her 5-year-old child in Tennessee as a human shield while she was carjacking people, and it's like, good God, man. With parents like that, who needs fucking enemies, dude? Seriously. Like, it's getting bad, man. Seriously, it's getting terrible anymore. And yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better, but I don't know. I would like to say I'm going to survive the storm, but I don't think I am, honestly, when it's all said and done, man. And that's mostly why I do these right now. It's mostly why I do all this stuff on here, is because it's basically a time capsule for people to find and understand, like, this is what we were fighting for. This is what we were fighting against, et cetera, et cetera. Mental exhaustion is real, man. And it's one of those things where You know, you need people to rely on. Unfortunately, when people, you know, betray you and, you know, people that you thought were your friends just, you know, turn their backs on you over stupid shit is what it is. It's very hard to actually trust people then. So, but yeah, anyway, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. I'm going to throw the link out. If anybody wants to jump in the back chat, I'll probably be here for another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so to bullshit with anybody that wants to bullshit. But other than that, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. You know, we got other things we're going to talk about in the 2A cast this probably week is what it is. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do one of those here pretty soon. So, if anybody wants to jump in the back chat, though, I'll be here, like I said, for another probably 15 minutes or so, maybe a half hour at most. But yeah, other than that, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next week or so when you have General Assemblies reconvene and how many people want to go full tyrant and how many different General Assemblies makeups are going to change now because of the 2022 midterms and stuff like that. I know for a fact that Minnesota is going to go blue for the first time ever, which is going to be Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, they better have stuff in their state constitution, dude, that can't be rescinded back, because if they don't, like, holy shit, man, things are going to go way anti-gun in that state very quickly is what it'll be. So, anyway, like I said, though, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.